Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Jesse Both from the 19th hole. This is the extra playthrough for the Ventura Open Tournament. We're going to start out with hole number 1 here, and this is kind of an experimental shot that I wanted to try. This is a shot that I'm going to play with the APOC 5. I'm going to use a berserker ball, and what we're trying to do here is trying to figure out a way where we can play this shot without having to use curl or trying to hit perfect on the shot. So I'm trying to line my shot up here with my landing zone somewhere in the middle of the fairway, and then I'm going to go 18 rings to the left here. And then from here, I'm just going to go full over power, but straight back, and then I'm going to release my shot with a straight hook to the right-hand side. No perfect ball is needed here for this shot. And then your spins will be right spin and 3, 4, 5 bars of backspin depending on your wind. As you can see, we came in a little bit left, so from that I can see that, you know, if I wanted to keep working with this shot, I would need to add a little bit of right curl on the shot or adjust less rings to the left. I think the best thing to do would either just go with 15 bars of adjustment to the left or go with about half to a quarter ball of curl to the right. I think this is definitely a shot that can be dialed in. So if that's something that you want to keep on working on, then there it is. I wanted to show it to you all. It's probably not the way that I'm going to be playing this week, but nonetheless, it's definitely another opportunity. All right, so this is a shot that I'm going to stick with this week most likely, which is going to be a power curl shot with the APOC and the berserker ball. Now you want to pay attention to your wind because that's going to determine your backspin usage here. So anything 9 and up to 10 is 2.5 to 3.5. And as you're going to see here, I'm using about 2.5 here on this shot. I think 3 backspin would have been a little bit better on this shot. But as you can see, definitely we're not going with full right curl on the shot. So definitely be careful to not use over curl this shot and use the correct amount of curl. This one's going to come in nicely, and it's going to set up right there on the fringe for an easy little chip to the hole. So talking about the wind speed again, if you have something like 10 plus miles per hour, I would consider somewhere around 3.5 to 4 bars of backspin. And then anything with 11 plus mile per hour wind, I would consider 4 to 4.5 bars of backspin, then also taking off a little bit of your overpower on your shot. I have seen people play that shot also with power 4 balls, but if you have the berserker ball, I think playing it with the berserker is going to be your safest and most consistent way to play that hole. All right, hole number 2 is next. We'll be playing the rough bump here. In this video, I may also experiment with a sniper and a guardian shot here during qualification, but in this video, we've got the Goliath rough bump. 6 top, 3 left spin. We're using a wind 4, side spin 2, power 3 ball. You can also use a Kingmaker or a C100 Centurion ball. You want the yellow ring right there at the top edge of the left of the rough with the red ring right up there against the edge of the bunker. As you're going to see here, we're playing 0% max here on this adjustment. Now, as you see here, when I go to take my shot, you're going to see one glaring thing. Look at that, underpowered shot. Didn't fully center my ball in the shot target, and because of that, it's going to bounce, going to come in, and it's just going to barely lose steam here at the end and fade off to the right. So with a perfect shot with the perfect amount of power, we would have dropped it. Now I'm going to show you how an expert does it. Same exact setup, 6 top, 3 left spin, 0% max, and the only difference between this shot and my shot is going to be the correct power in the ball circle, as you're going to be able to see here in just a second. You want that ball guide lined up right at the hole. As we said, yellow ring at the edge of the rough, red ring at the edge of the bunker. 0% max is the adjustment here. And as you can see, pulled back, and this time, this ball is perfectly centered in the shot circle. And because of that, this spider lady is going to see a much better result than I saw. Boom. There's the ace. All right, hole number 3, par 5. We're going to be playing our shot with a quarterback and a sniper We'll play plus 10% max for our adjustment off the tee box. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be aiming our right edge of our white ring along the rough line there, and then we'll add our spin, max left spin, 2.7 bars of top spin. We adjust max plus 10%, and then we're just going to hit our shot. And this shot should be great proof to the left or to the right, and that's just the beauty of the quarterback. You don't want to go too far up this fairway, so make sure you don't add any overpower to this shot, and you don't need any curl either for this shot. We're looking for somewhere between 327 and 331. We get 329, which means we're going to be playing this next shot at 30% club, and we'll play 0% elevation for this shot. 3 backspin and 2 left spin. If on your drive you're not somewhere within those yardages, then you're just going to do a plus or minus 2.5 percentage points per yard on your shot. All right, so 3 back, 2 left, aim this one at the hole. There's a nice little funnel there for all of you all. Make your adjustment. We played 30% club at 0% elevation for this shot, and then definitely hit perfect on the shot. It's a really good size funnel, and you know, most of the time you're going to see this type of result right there. Boom, hit the pin, drop in the hole for the Albatross. Hole number 4 is next. This is a par 3. The way we're going to be playing it this time here is I'm using a wind 5. You need at least a side spin 2 and a power 1 ball. Power 1 is going to be the trick here. You want a power 1 ball. So we're going 2.5 back, 3 bars of right spin on this shot, and I'll be playing this shot at 20% mid. Some people play this shot at 15% mid. Now the difference between the two is if you're going to play this one at 15% mid, you want to offset your shot 1 square to the right of the hole. If you're playing 15, you want to offset it 1/2 a square. As you can see, I was more offset about 3/4 of a square to the right, which is definitely not going to be good news for me here at the end. Make sure that orange ring is right there on the edge of the rough line when you line up your shot. We hit perfect, but we offset incorrectly. We went 0.75 instead of 1/2 a square, and because of that, we get the rim job. Yep, and we're on the ground crying. So remember, if you're playing 15% mid, it's a 1 square adjustment to the right, or a 1 square offset to the right, and if you're playing the 20% mid, it's a 1/2 square offset to the right. Hole 5, we're playing this one with the APOC and a Kingmaker ball, and we're just going to full overpower this shot. You want max left spin and 4 to 5 bars of backspin, and then we're going to go with not full curl, as you all can see, and not completely full overpower, because I don't want to go too far up the fairway. If I do that, then I'm going to be too far right, and then I'm going to have to contend with those palm trees. So that's the reason why I didn't go full overpower there. I do want to stay up and left on the fairway, and that gives me a shot to the hole without having to worry about those palm trees, as you all can see. We're going to use max right spin here on this shot, and we'll be playing this shot at, I think I played this one at 0% on the shot. This is a shot that you got to play, and then you just got to keep track of your yardages and your spins, and then just kind of dial this one in. It is a left to right tailwind, so you can expect a little bit of a push on this shot. And I tried to aim this one as best as I could toward the hole. I really think I need a little bit more of an angle on that hole, and ball guide not straight to the hole. We hit great to the left, but as you're going to see, this one actually comes in pretty nicely, and with a perfect shot, it may have been really close. So the ball guide lineup on that shot may have been pretty spot on, playing it at 0%. Hole number 6 here, we're playing this one to the right side. I choose to go with the Thor. We'll play max top spin. I'm playing plus 10% here on this drive, and we'll go with max top spin and about 2.5 to 3 bars of right spin. We aim the right edge of our blue ring right there along the edge of the rough line, and we're at the plus 5 yard marker here for this shot with this club and ball. From here, we're going to adjust plus 10%, which was about 5 rings. Takes me about 1.5 rings into overpower. We're going to add a little bit of right curl, which hopefully would great proof us from a left, great left in that rough line. And it's going to roll us up here quite nicely up this fairway. And it's going to put us in min distance for our thorn shot here. 352 yards was that drive. So with a right to left tailwind here, we're playing this shot at 0%. And we're not going to be playing our shot quite at min distance. So what we're going to do, we're going to play our min, and then we're going to add 0.1 to 2 onto the shot. I think we went min plus 0.2 on this shot, just because we actually ended up moving our shot a little bit even farther up the green there at the end. A little bit of backspin, a little bit of left spin, aim that ball guide to the hole, and then make your adjustment, which for me was min plus 0.2, and hit it perfect. This is a very consistent shot, and if you set it up correctly, most of the time I feel like you will drop it just like I did right there. So 10% on the drive, and then 0% on the thorn shot right there. All right, we got hole number 7 here. This one's brought to you by Danny from the Spider Ladies. We're going plus 30% mid, 4.5 back, 2.5 right. And there's a couple things you want to pay attention to here. First, the bullseye in between the two shadows with your ball guide along the right-hand edge of that dark green row of squares to the right of the pin. You want your right blue ring to have a small gap between it and the rough, and then you want your left blue ring to overlap the rough just a little bit. Then you're going to be playing your plus 30% mid adjustment on this shot. Kingmaker, a Centurion ball would probably be even better on this hole because it would cut down that wind a little bit, and even one of those Superstar balls would be really good here as well. Hit that one perfect. It's going to come in and bounce nicely. As you see, the second bounce is going to hit right there on the middle of that fringe and roll in there for the ace. Let's get some booms for these Spider Ladies. All right, we got hole number 8 here. The first thing you want to do is start with your Kingmaker, get your wind, and then you're going to use that wind for your adjustment as far as your chart or your app goes. Then what you want to do is you want to switch to Berserker ball, max right spin. I go with no backspin. I would definitely suggest maybe going with 1 bar of backspin. The reason you switch to the Berserker is so that you have the distance to actually line up your shot where you want to line up your shot without having to push into overpower. From there, then you will adjust your actual Kingmaker rings, and then before you take your shot, you will switch your ball back to the Kingmaker. What that does is it just gives you the ability to adjust your shot and line up your shot without having to worry about pushing into overpower. So as you see, I make the adjustment with Kingmaker wind, and then I switch back to the Kingmaker and take my shot like normal. We hit this one perfect. We did not go with any backspin here, and I also believe I did not adjust the plus 10% on this shot, which would be why the ball came up so close to that edge and almost went over. To be safe though, I would probably suggest maybe going with 0.5 to 1 bar of backspin, but definitely make sure you make your correct adjustment for that drive as far as the plus 10% goes. Looks like there's a rough bump chance right here. Going into the shot, I wasn't thinking about the rough bump, so I'm going to stick with the bounce over shot with the Grizzly, but definitely the rough bump is something that could possibly be dialed in for a really good chance at the eagle here. We're playing plus 10% here. We're going with our spin to the hole. You want that second bounce to be just past the edge of that rough line, because with that slight tailwind, you are going to get a little bit of an extra push on the shot. You want to figure out what club length you're on, and that's the club length you will use. And then you hit this one perfect. It's going to come in, bounces, as you can see, that second bounce just over, and it comes in a little bit off to the right. It's definitely a hole that's going to take some work, but it's definitely one that can be dialed in. I don't think for the most part you will see most people making that shot though. All right, for hole number 9, I'm playing this one with the Kingmaker. I'm going with a quarterback, and then I'm going with a Cataclysm. So what we're going to do here is max left spin, and we're going to go with 3 bars of top spin here. I like the line right there, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull our shot up with our orange ring on the edge of the rough line, and then we're going to adjust our shot back at plus 10% max. So what you do is you pull your shot to where you want it, and then you push your shot back for your adjustment. We're going to use full curl to the left here. And as you can see, this one's going to come in quite nicely. Now you can also use a berserker ball or a higher level power ball here. And it's not what you'd be doing for the drive. You'd be using it for the second shot here. I decided to go with the Kingmaker because I felt like the Kingmaker would be plenty. With my Cataclysm, you could also use the big dog here. If you go more to the right drive-wise than I did, then you'll have to use some right curl on this shot. But because I'm in such a good position, I can curl my shot with my spin. I mean, I can use my spin, and I don't have to worry about curl. So I spin my shot to where I want to go. You can get more aggressive with that spin and go more directly at the hole if you want, but definitely, be warned that bunker can come into the play on the left. So in my opinion, this would be a hole that I would take the eagle on, unless maybe you needed that extra stroke to go in gold or banner or something. Then in that point, then you may want to just go for it and maybe have a chance to drop it, because as you can see, with the way I played it, I came in really nice, and it's a really good chance, a definite chance to get the eagle there. All right, y'all, thank you very much. This was the expert playthrough. Big shout out to the Spider Ladies for all of their help this week so far in figuring out these shots. G.C. Fenzel and Michael Bolton Sr. Y'all have a great day. God bless.